It's been a while since I've done a Song of Ice and Fire deep dive, but today I'm in the mood for one. And the person in the hot seat, it's Hodor. Guys, the really good news is Hodor is still alive in the books. Because this moment traumatised me. Let's look at what we know about Hodor, or Walder as his real name is in the books. On Game of Thrones, the TV show, it is Willis. We know he's related to Old Nan. She's like his great-grandmother, but the rest of their family, for one reason or another, is no longer around. Some died during the Greyjoy Rebellion, some died during Robert's Rebellion. We know Old Nan is one of the workers at Winterfell, a sort of jack of all trades. She will mend things, she'll teach the children, she'll take care of them. And it's because of Old Nan that Hodor lives at Winterfell. In fact, he lives in this little bit above the stables. So sometimes he does smell a bit of horse. Hodor and Old Nan, they're part of the family with House Stark. As for how he got the name Hodor, no one really knows. According to Old Nan, he just started saying this word and nobody knew why. It was just the only word he could say. So after a while, they just started calling him Hodor. Unlike on Game of Thrones, where we saw a flashback to young Hodor and Bran jumping back and forth, we don't know for certain if that is what happened to Hodor in the books. We do know he's kind of a jack of all trades, just like Old Nan. He does odd jobs around Winterfell. Because he's so big and strong, he can carry huge amounts of grain. He looks after the horses. Any job, really, that needs to be done. When Bran Stark has his accident, Hodor is trusted to carry Bran around from place to place, which I think speaks a lot to how the Starks viewed Hodor. They trusted him. He is a big, strapping lad, but he's a gentle giant. Osha thinks he might have some giant's blood in him. Crazier things have happened. Now, we don't have a POV from Hodor. We don't know anything of his inner monologue. We don't know how he really feels or thinks. On the surface, at least, everything seemed to just be fine. But things change when Theon Greyjoy takes Winterfell. All of that commotion, all the shouting and hollering and people threatening each other, that freaks Hodor out. He gets very frightened and Theon orders his men to hit Hodor to quieten him down. Now, let's remember, Theon knows Hodor. He knows he's harmless. So that was really fucked up. Hodor escapes with Bran and with Rickon. They go down to the crypts and he is with them when they go out into the wilderness heading north. Given how freaked out Hodor was by all the commotion at Winterfell, I can only imagine what they're going through out in the cold, in the wild. He has to be terrified. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, where are we? This is not a familiar place. But Hodor does not abandon Bran. He's very loyal to Bran Stark and to Rickon, but to Bran in particular, almost to a fault. One night, this little group are taking refuge in this old abandoned tower. There's a huge storm raging and Hodor is incredibly agitated and they're worried that people are going to hear them. And it's in this moment that Bran makes the decision to skin change into Hodor. He literally possesses Hodor's mind and body. Now, in that instance, Bran calms Hodor down. He quietens him so that the group go undetected. Bran rationalises this act by saying, we needed to do this because God forbid if people found us. But real talk, what he's doing with Hodor, it's not okay. And it's not the only time Bran does this. He keeps on jumping into Hodor. In Book 5, A Dance with Dragons, this is what he recalls. The fact that Hodor, the big stable boy, no longer fought him as he had the first time, back in the lake tower during the storm. Like a dog who has had all the fight whipped out of him, Hodor would curl up and hide whenever Bran reached out for him. Went into his body. Hodor's hiding place was somewhere deep within him, a pit where not even Bran could touch him. No one wants to hurt you, Hodor, he said silently to the child man whose flesh he'd taken. I just want to be strong again for a while. I'll give it back the way I always do. Bran continues, saying no one ever knew when he was wearing Hodor's skin. Bran only had to smile, do as he was told, and mutter Hodor from time to time, and he could follow Meera and Jojen, grinning happily without anyone suspecting it was really him. He often tagged along whether he was wanted or not. Bran is really struggling at this point with not being able to walk, and he's sick of being at the mercy of being carried around. So to be given the chance to go into Hodor and essentially be walking around, that is something that Bran struggles to give up. He gets an increasing amount of satisfaction from being in Hodor's body. The really sad and scary part is that Bran knows he shouldn't be doing this. You've got the three-eyed crow trying to warn him, look, there's this extra special ability that you have, but you've got to be able to harness it. It's not just magic that you can dispense. There are rules. You've got to be careful. And at the same time, Bran is doing something he knows is risky and dangerous. This is a situation that could very easily snowball out of control. Bran is walking about, he's exploring places that he can't go to when he's in his own body. And Bran is justifying it to himself. But Hodor is one of the reasons that Bran is even alive today. Hodor put his life on the line, fighting off the Whites as they entered this cave. He risked his life, and this is how Bran repays him. This is why I say, Bran Stark, you've got to keep an eye on him. You've got to watch him. He's on the wrong road. This ability, it's very alluring to Bran. He doesn't want to have to give it up. But it's fundamentally not right, because Hodor has no say in the matter. That's where things stand as we are in the books. So the good news is Bran, Hodor, Jojen and Meera, they're alive, but things are not exactly going great. Bran is taking advantage of Hodor, and he knows it. That feels icky, because Bran is meant to be just a young boy, and to be doing this, it's not good.